smile. We're going to get back and touch on some real good, interesting subjects here today, and we're going to welcome Miss Dana Jones. She's a vegan, so she's going to give us some information of how she became from eating regular meals to becoming a vegan. She's been a vegan for about 1 year, so Miss Dana has been working really hard at this, and she even has her IG page, vegan underscore ish underscore vibes. So we're going to touch on that. So in case you want to get in touch with Miss Dana, you can contact her again. Like I say, once again, at vegan underscore ish underscore vibes. So we'd like to take some time, and we would like to introduce you to Miss Dana Jones.
Hey, everybody.
So we got Miss Dana Jones on here, and we're going to sit back and try to touch on some information, and she's going to give us some information on how you may convert your life to being a vegan. Welcome, Miss Dana Jones.
Thank you so much.
And we have Miss Dorchelle Clark here in the house as well. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about being vegan.
Yes.
So I see that you say you've been vegan for 1 year. How long was the transition to actually get you to really recognize that this is something I want to do?
So I started out really slow. I was having a bunch of GI issues for as long as I can remember. I've always been very small, very slim in stature, so I felt like I could eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, but that's not the case. You can't do that. So I ended up with a lot of GI issues, and a lot of the resolution that the doctors wanted to do was medication. I didn't want to take medication to get my body to do what it naturally should do. So I ended up talking to my primary care physician, and she recommended I try this thing called the low food map diet. And the low food map diet is basically where you remove all of the things that could cause you to have GI issues out of your diet.
So most of that stuff will probably be like dairy and stuff of that nature.
Yep,
okay.
all of that stuff. You remove all of that, and then you slowly start to reintroduce those things to see what it is that's giving you the GI issues. But it was pretty much a vegan diet. So when I tried it, I was like, well, it's a vegan diet. And she was like, yeah, just try it and see. And we'll reintroduce those things. Well, after that first week, I felt so much better.
Right, and that was really getting rid of the bread, the gluten.
Well, not the bread. I was able to eat bread, but it was vegan bread. So
okay.
It was like dairy, it was meats, it was cheese, it was milk, all those things.
Yeah, because the reason I was asking, because most breads have some kind of gluten in it to hold it together.
Yes,
so I mean, I understand that it was vegan like bread, but basically everyday bread that we go to the grocery store and get, you was eliminating that from your diet as well,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how about as far as liquid intake? What kind of stuff, like stop drinking milk and?
Well, I never drank milk. I always had an issue with milk, so I never drank milk. But I eliminated that cheese and the eggs, those things.
Okay.
That was a tough one, the eggs, because I love eggs.
So let me ask you this: do you get the desire to even like sometimes go back to like maybe having an egg or a piece of chicken or something like that?
So here's the thing with this whole vegan journey. It's been a year for me now. The thing with me is, so my IG again is at vegan underscore ish underscore vibes. And the reason that I say ish is because sometimes you gotta give yourself a little grace.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you might see something and you're like, I really want a piece of that bacon, and you eat a piece of that bacon. So you just gotta afford yourself some grace through this process. Now you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of eating that
that's
bacon.
What I want to know.
But it's okay. It's all right. You know, you don't beat yourself up.
So being vegan, let's say you give yourself that little grace and you say, you know what, I'm gonna eat a piece of this bacon today. What kind of response did your body give you from eating that bacon?
Right. So the issues I was having, I would have spasms in my colon area. So I would have a lot of spasms in my stomach and my intestines, and it would just cause me. Honestly, it was like it would stop me in my tracks. That's how bad it is when I have them. So I feel the effects when I eat it. I might not feel it like right away, but it definitely comes, and I have those issues.
Well, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, that you know, I myself, I go I've tried the vegan diet, I've tried the vegetarian diet. I do impulsive eating where some days I might go 2 days and just do smoothies, like fruity smoothies or something. Because I think that one thing, especially us as black people, we have to understand of taking care of our colon. I mean, because a lot of black people die from colon cancer. Shout outs to Mr. Greg Leach. He just passed with colon cancer. And, we want to send our blessings out to the Leach family to let them know that, we got them in our prayers. But also, just knowing that you had to make a change in life.
Yeah. A lot of times we think that, oh, my mom, my grandmother, they had diabetes, they had hypertension, they had high cholesterol. I'm going to have those. It's hereditary. And some things are hereditary, but a lot of that is because of the way they ate. And a lot of times we develop those problems because we eat the same way that our parents ate. But if you make the change to a plant-based whole food diet, it definitely will eliminate or mitigate some of those things that you're faced with as you get older.
Okay, and that's the thing that I think that we have to understand in changing our diets is that what we need to put into our bodies. Because like you said, people go back and, because mom and dad ate chitlins, we feel like we got to eat chitlins. Mom and dad ate, butt roast and pork chops and stuff like that. And, my thing I tell people, because some people can't handle spontaneous change, so you have to do things in moderation. And a lot of times people have to understand this. Like one thing that's very important, which you brought up, is protecting your colon. And people have to understand this, that you can't eat meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, and meat for dinner, and you eating burgers and stuff like that and expect, some kind of change, and then you feel why you're sluggish and things of this nature. So, the vegan lifestyle is not for everyone. Some people go become vegetarians and they basically eat chicken and fish.
That's not vegetarian.
What?
Vegetarian is actually vegetables with poultry.
Okay.
But not poultry, I'm sorry, with dairy.
Okay.
So if you're eating chicken and fish, you're a carnivore, basically.
Okay. So people, but people have said that white meat is better for you than the red meat and, things of this nature. So we all have to go out and experiment what's best for our bodies, because realistically, the vegan diet may not work for some people because you have to take in consideration as well as your medical issues that you have going on. So, you don't want to just jump out there and just say, okay, I'm going to become vegan and then wonder why you're passing out and stuff like that.
So I'm glad you said that. And on my page, on my vegan page on Instagram, I actually did a couple lives, and I have a series called Sunday Socials. And one of the first episode I did was with my registered dietitian.
Okay.
And we talked about how you should transition to a plant-based whole food diet if that's what you're desiring to do.
Okay. And how did she talk about?
So one of the things she recommended was that, so the way that I transitioned was I would eat plant-based whole food Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, Saturdays, because Chick-fil-A is open on Saturdays.
Okay.
I had chicken.
Okay.
But then on Sunday and Monday, of course, I was feeling the effects of what I had on Saturday.
Okay.
So I did that for a while, and then eventually it was just like, okay, enough is enough. I can't keep doing this. So I just stopped altogether. But one thing I did do was go to see my doctor and explain to her that, okay, now I'm on this vegan journey. I'd like to have a blood panel done. I like to make sure that I'm getting all the nutrients I'm supposed to get, that I'm eating all the things that I need to eat to make sure that I have all of those nutrients I'm supposed to get. And that big question that everybody asks vegans, where do you get your protein from?
Right, I was going to ask you that. So could you step back and explain to people, as vegan, especially like not eating dairy type bread and stuff like that, different carbs, or with the pasta that's made from eggs and stuff. So would you take a little time to explain to people how do you go about getting your protein, your carbs, and everything like that in?
So I eat there are tons of different ways to get proteins outside of eating meat in particular. So you can eat beans, you can eat lentils. I know you don't eat beans.
Right. Well, we all know that beans are high in protein.
Yeah, you don't like beans. But
me as a child, I got beaned to death. I know about every bean that came in this country, so I choose not to eat beans.
Right. You can eat beans, you can eat lentils, you can eat mushrooms, you can eat tofu. There are, other types of things that you eat. Seitan, you can eat tempeh. There are different things that you can eat
Okay.
to get your protein, and it does not. There are different vegetables that have protein in them as well, so you don't have to get it from meat. Actually, the cow is eating grass,
Right.
getting their protein. So when you eat the cow, you're getting your protein secondhand.
Let me ask you this, because I know, as we were riding around earlier today, and you were looking for the different uh, marketplaces that
Right.
were buy, and as we noticed when we went into the lower income areas, there was really no fresh vegetables, grocery stores, and stuff like that. So, I mean, a lot of people, like, I have friends that have started their own garden,
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like they're getting it direct, and because these vegetables are sprayed with a lot of pesticides and stuff like that, and we kind of don't know how that's affecting us as well. So give me a little insight on what you would recommend to people if they were out looking for the right vegetables and fruits to eat. What would you recommend? A regular grocery store, a Whole Food, or Sprouts, or somewhere like that. What would you recommend that they go?
So what I do, or what I, so there are a couple markets that I go to. Really three in particular. I go to the Asian market in my area, which is H Mart, because to me, honestly, they just have the best variety, assortment, and plethora of fruits and vegetables, different kinds that I've never even seen before. So like, I'll even see a vegetable there, take a picture of it, and then research it to see what it is, how I can cook it to make it nice to my palate.
Right.
And it's different things like that. So I go to H Mart. I also go to Sprout Market because they have a great variety of vegan options there.
Right.
And I also go to Trader Joe's because they have a bunch of things I like there too. So I go to three different markets like in one
Okay.
day. But that's what I do. I go to, and I'm one of those vegans that pretty much it's just veggies and beans and lentils and potatoes and stuff like that for me. I don't do a lot of the alternative meats that they provide for vegans. I don't like that.
So do you ever, as a vegan, we know you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Do at any point you like, I'm tired of this,
I have not gotten to that point yet. 1 year in, and I have not gotten
Right.
there.
Because like I've had some friends that have tried the vegan and the vegetarian, and they were like, well, hey, I can't do this because I miss the thing. And I think a lot of that comes from, like we said earlier, being introduced to it as a young person. Because I think if you take a child from an infant and you feed them nothing but vegetables and fruits, I think that you already have introduced their body to that lifestyle. So I know for me, like, I haven't eaten pork since 1968, and I haven't eaten red meat since 1978. And sometimes I can walk in people's house and just the smell of it makes me nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when you take the time to introduce people to a certain lifestyle, the younger that you do it, the better off it is for them. So I just feel like, a lot of people can't sustain that lifestyle because they're so accustomed to eating a certain way, and a lot of it takes discipline.
Well, absolutely discipline. But I think that, and also I think it's because they just don't have they don't venture out. So you can't just necessarily say I'm only eating soul food type food as a vegan. No, you try an Asian flavored dish or an Italian flavored dish, or just any the different ethnicities. You got to try different spices. You got to try to make them different ways.
Right.
My cousin Kim and I, we swap recipes a lot.
Okay.
A lot. We do that a lot, and it's just different things you want to try. So you got to be willing to try different things. And I think, and it's just, I'll make vegetables in so many different ways that you're like, wait a minute, this is vegan? Yeah, it's vegan. But I'm not making it to try to make it taste like anything else.
Right.
I want it to taste like vegetables with an Asian flair. Or I want it to taste like vegetables with a soul food flair.
Right. And that's another thing that you brought up, which is a great point. A lot of us are so accustomed to salt and pepper, and we don't understand and reach out to what other spices can do for our foods.
Exactly.
So, when you acquire that taste for just salt and pepper, you're pouring salt. It doesn't taste well because it's not salty or it's not sweet enough. And you sit back and once you understand and do some little reading on how other spices flavor foods,
Right.
and you might acquire a taste for it then because you're so used to the sugar and salt.
Exactly.
So
Mhm.
when you break that down, it can help you entertain this lifestyle a
Mhm.
lot better.
Yeah.
And the next question I want to ask you, because a lot of people sit back and when they think of vegan, they like, why am I eating this cardboard? This
No.
tastes like a cardboard box. So so how do you get people to jump over that hurdle to think that by being a vegan because it doesn't say the word meat and you saying, hey, I went to the store and I ate me a bean burger, but you say, hey, that bean burger was great.
So I don't eat bean burger.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
But I'll say this. Because I don't, that's the thing. I'm not the vegan who wants to eat a burger to try to taste like, now there is a brand of burgers, alternative meat, vegan burgers that I've had that I think is amazing. It's great, but that's not my go-to. That's
Okay.
that's that's a splurge. Because I feel like, honestly, I feel like in the vegan world, that's junk food.
Right.
That's what it is. It's just junk food. So it's like, stick to the veggies, the fruits, the lentils, the beans, the things that are really gonna be healthy for you, keep you moving, keep you going away. And the one thing I did want to talk about, I don't know if you were gonna touch on this though. It's really taboo for us as African Americans
And what is that?
to talk about excrements.
Okay.
And the one thing being a vegan, it actually, that's how it helps you, because it gets those toxins out of your
Exactly.
body. It gets those things moving. It gets your colon working. And a lot of us suffer from. I had friends, myself included, at one point, wasn't going.
Right.
But we never talk about it.
Right, because some subjects become so taboo,
Exactly.
and people set up. And I know, especially us as men, we
Right.
don't want to set up and talk to another man. Man, I can't move my bowels, or something like that.
Exactly.
But I mean, people think that is something wrong to talk about. But we have to start talking about, like you said, we have to look out for our African American community, and we have to start talking about the things that's going to keep us alive, keep us healthy. And you know what? We have to jump that hurdle to not make it taboo to
Right.
say, you know what? Hey, I'm having intestinal problem. I'm having colon problem. And I suggest to, especially every black man out here, is that, when you get to that age, 40, 50, you need to go get a colonostomy to get scoped to make sure things, because, technology has come around so great now that they can cut the pallets while they're in there to prevent you from getting colon cancer and stuff like that. And even with ladies, and like, the medical field says, hey, if somebody in your family had it, you probably need to get checked earlier,
Exactly.
But you made a great point because, people got to understand this, is that whatever you take in, it has to be
You are what
released.
you eat. You
Right.
are what you eat.
Because if you don't release it, it's setting in your body and going rotten.
Toxins.
And this is what caused medical issues. So, vegan, and even being a vegan, we got to start looking at ourselves health-wise.
Right.
Health-wise, we got to really start looking and helping ourselves as African Americans health-wise, because it's sad that other cultures are outliving us just because of our diets, which is something that above other things that they're outliving us of, but just because of our diets.
Right.
We got the majority of people that's outliving us because, like, again, once I say we choose to eat how we were raised
Right.
and still eating healthy,
Well, that too, and also a lot of times, and it's a whole nother subject, but a lot of times in the African American community, in the lower income community, they're food deserts, and they don't have options
Exactly.
of fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. They can't get a plethora of those things, and they don't have transportation to get somewhere to get it. So we have to start like making that available to them. I wish I knew how to make a garden like my grandmother and them. I would take my backyard and make that a whole garden. I don't have the capacity to do it, but it's okay. You gotta know your limitations.
Yeah, but sometimes, just like you reached out and learned how to become a vegan,
Right.
you can reach out and learn how to become a
You're
farmer.
right.
Because I always tell people, no matter what you do in life or the decisions you make, it's about discipline.
Yes.
It's about discipline, and that's very, very important because a lot of people don't have the discipline to conquer their goals. If a doctor is telling you something that's gonna make you better or give you a better lifestyle or better way of living or a better way of eating, I say take heed to it, you know.
You got to take your own health into your hands. You have to take you have to be your own advocate. That doctor kept telling me, "Oh, we're gonna put you on this medication." No, you're not gonna put me on that medication. We're gonna figure out why I'm not doing what I need to do.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna do whatever needs to change to make sure that I begin to do those things. So then I started this whole journey, and it's been amazing. I feel great.
Right.
I really do.
Because I think that, I personally think that it's very dangerous that when you start getting on medication to relieve yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a dangerous thing because, you know, most people that take medicine, and I say this, I think that God has blessed us with man and technology and medical to make us better. But in the same token, I think that some people become codependent on things, whether it's an X-Lac or what's that, milk magnesia or something like that. So they begin to depend on these things, and these things are really not doing anything to get you to do what you need to do, and that's to relieve yourself.
Exactly. You can't continue those same bad habits, those same bad eating habits, and think that you're going to get a different result.
Right.
Even a lot of my friends are now doing Colonics, which is like a hydro enema, just water, right? Just to go. And I'm like, a couple of my girlfriends, I'm like, you wouldn't have to do that like that if you ate differently.
Right.
You got to eat differently. You got to change what you're putting in to get a different result.
Right, and I've heard of people doing the colonics thing, and matter of fact, I've had some friends that are medical doctors, and they kind of really against that because what they're saying, in your body you have good bacteria and bad bacteria,
exactly.
and sometimes when you do those colonics and stuff, you're flushing out the good bacteria, you know, and it's not help because I knew somebody that probably used to go get a colonic 2-3 times a month.
I know somebody who does it a couple times a week.
You know, and it's not
healthy.
You know, it's not healthy because, you know, one thing that really probably rubs me the wrong way more than anything is that, you know, with social media that we have out here and stuff now, people get on and they post things or say things, and none of these people have any medical knowledge at all. It's conspiracy theory.
They went to YouTube University.
If you do this or I Google this,
Yep,
they say,
yep.
and like I always tell my wife, and I get her laughing, when I find that joker, they say, he in trouble. Because they say a lot. They say, hey, you in trouble. They say you're not supposed to eat vegetables. They say, you know what, beef is good for you. They say, so when I find that dude, they say gotta pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we're not here to really say, hey, we're here to say, do what's best for you. But we're here to say, let's do it in moderation. We're here to say, hey, you can't eat meat 3 and 4 times a day and think that you're not going to have intestinal problems.
Right.
You know, we're here to say that you have the opportunity to pick up knowledge, books. Would you have any books or anything that you would suggest to people about the vegan diet?
So no, I don't have anything to suggest. I haven't really read up on anything in a book.
You just did it.
I did it. I just
Okay,
did it. I did a lot of research online. I spoke to my doctor, of course. I spoke to a dietitian, and you know.
So you would recommend that even if a person did not pick up a book and read, they should do some research and most of all talk to a medical and a dietitian.
Absolutely, speak to your
Speak to somebody that has professional knowledge.
Absolutely. And one other thing I suggest is that every 6 months or so I get a blood panel done just to check my my vitamin levels, all of those things, just to make sure everything is good. My iron levels, protein, hemoglobin, all of those things. And so far, fingers crossed, I've been doing amazing. Everything's been great.
And that's great. And again, what is, if you guys want to follow Dana, you can follow her where, Dana?
I'm on Instagram at vegan_ish_vibes.
And what kind of information do you, or things that you put out there?
All things vegan.
All things vegan, to let people know.
Yes.
How to live this lifestyle.
Yeah, this plant-based whole food journey can be done.
Right.
And I mean, even if, no matter how you do it, and that's the ish part. I just want people to understand, afford yourself some grace, like however you do it. If you start off by just making your meat portion smaller and your vegetable portion larger, that's one way to start. You know, it's just start off with a meatless Monday. Decide that, okay, the month of March, I'm not doing any meats.
Just like Taco Tuesday, do meatless Monday.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Just figure out a day, figure out whatever you want to do. particular food group. I'm gonna cut out this and I'm gonna do this, but don't look at it like you're missing out on something. Just think of it as you're gaining better health.
So let me ask you this, because some people have this myth that when you become vegan and you're just eating fruits and vegetables that you stay hungry all the time.
Nope, I'm not hungry all the time. And another thing, I mentioned before in the beginning that I'm pretty small. I'm 5'9" and only like 145 pounds. And I've always been small. So one of my concerns when I started this vegan journey was that I would begin to lose weight. And I was like, I don't want to lose no weight. I've been skinny. I don't want to lose weight. I don't
Right.
need to get any smaller. And my doctor was like, no. And my dietitian both said, no, just continue to eat carbs the way you do.
Okay.
And I do.
And once again, what as a vegan, would you say is some of the best thing to eat to get your carbs?
So I do rice, potatoes, pasta, bread, all.
Okay.
And let me be totally honest. I have yet to find a really good vegan cake, and cake is my weakness, so I eat regular cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, because we know that vegans, they don't eat dairy, eggs, and stuff like that. So when you talk about pasta, is there a certain kind of vegan pasta?
I get it from Trader Joe's.
And what is that called?
I don't know what the brand is. I'm sorry, but it's in the packaging. I don't know the brand of it.
But it says vegan on
It
it?
does not say vegan. You just have to read the ingredients and make sure it doesn't have egg or milk in it.
All right. Because, I mean, I'm one of those people. I go to the grocery store and I pick up things and I read the
There's
ingredients.
actually an app that you can. I have it on my phone, but it's a vegan app, and you can scan things to see if it's vegan in the grocery store without even having to read the ingredients. Because sometimes I forget my glasses and I can't see,
Okay.
so I'll scan it on that app, and it'll tell me whether or not it's.
Yeah, because I always share with people, man, when you go to these grocery stores, you should read what you're putting in your body, because some of these things have so much processed stuff in it. And one thing a person told me that I started really following is that when you begin to read these ingredients, if you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't be eating it. You know,
I feel you.
you know, because some of the stuff, I mean, even if you go do your Google research or research on it, it may say something, and that when you're trying to avoid sugar, that substance may be sugar and it's named something else, but it's really sugar.
Right.
You know, so you have to sit back and be able to read labels, understand what you're putting in your body, and cherish your body. That's what
You
we
only
want
get
you
one.
to do. We only get one.
only
We ain't
get
get
one.
trouble. So we getting ready to close up here, and we hope that you guys got some great information out of here. We want to welcome Danish Jones to People to Think About It. You know, People Think About It is launched every Wednesday at 7 o'clock on your different podcast outlets. And we want to say, Dana, we want you to keep your vegan lifestyle, keep going on.
Okay.
And once again, give us your Instagram.
It is at vegan_ish_vibes.
Hey, we want to thank you guys for listening, coming into People to Think About It. And this is the show that will make you laugh, cry, and sometimes even smile. Welcome to People Think About It.